I would like to discuss my experience with a religious cult. It was decades ago when I was 18 years old. I was in a group called Nicheron Shoshu Soka Association. They put themselves forward as a Buddhist group, but they did not adhere to the tenets of Buddhism. Not at all. They put forward the idea that you could get everything you want by chanting the words Nam Myoho Renge Kyo. And also you were supposed to make causes, and you were also supposed to say these words, other words, which were called Gongyo. Now, they don't tell you what the words mean. They just say you're supposed to say these words. You're supposed to chant the words like an hour a day in the morning and an hour a day at the evening, and also say Gongyo. Again, but what is Gongyo? What do the words mean in Gongyo? They don't bother to tell you. Okay, but you're supposed to either get everything you want or get something better, or you'll know why you didn't get it. Now, the thing about the cult is they operate on a bait and switch basis, because every time they go out to witness or do what they call shakabuku, which is tell other people about this wonderful thing called chanting, they always say, you'll get everything you want. Okay, then they bring them back to the meeting, and the head guy says, we really shouldn't say you should get everything you want. But every single time they go out again, they say, you'll get everything you want. Again, bait and switch. Okay. But basically, it's foolproof, because the idea is you'll talk yourself into thinking you got something better. You'll talk yourself into knowing that there was a cosmic reason why you didn't get it, if you didn't get what you were chanting for. Okay. And you're supposed to give it 100 days, and it'll supposedly work out if you also make the causes. Now, why don't you use Occam's razor and just make the causes and not chant? But it doesn't work that way. Supposedly, chanting helps somehow if you make the causes. Well, why don't you just make the causes? But anyway, this really isn't Buddhism. It comes out of some sort of Japanese folk beliefs. And they attached it to the idea of Buddhism. Okay. And one thing they do is proselytize and proselytize and proselytize. You got to come to a meeting 3 times a week. You got to join their groups and do this, that, or the other. And if you don't get what you wanted, or you're not satisfied with the group, you weren't involved enough in that group. You didn't join this, you didn't join the activities attached to it. You didn't do enough shakabuku. I would tell people it was working great when it wasn't. They actually would lie to people to try to get them inside. Like, for example, one girl said she didn't want to come to a meeting because her hair was in curlers. And the other girl said, oh, a lot of girls have their hair in curlers. And then she came in and found that she was the only girl with her hair in curlers. And the other girl laughed about it because she was lying to her. And it's an okay thing to lie to somebody to get them to come to a meeting in Nicheron Shoshu. Okay, but anyway, it was a shuck and jive. And it was a religious cult. And they also tried to pretend like they were okay with your being a member of a Christian. It was okay with your being a Jew. It was okay. Somehow you would become a better Christian or a better Jew if you also chanted. They tried to, basically they just tried to do a shuck and jive. And anyway, that was my experience with the Nicheron Shoshu Soka Association, a religious cult of phony pseudo-Buddhism.